What's up, guys? This is Chaz Guy with Gowhere Hip Hop. I'm here talking with Obii at Jukebox DC Studio in DC, and just gonna talk about some things. Obi's been on the website a few times, and now we're getting a video interview.
Yeah.
So how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Yourself?
So I'm doing great, man. How about you give us like a little bit of background, like where you're from and where'd you start?
All right. I'm from Washington D.C. and I got my start in music in the 11th grade, late 10th grade, early 11th grade. Going outside and at lunchtime. It's kind of almost like the cliche thing, but the only thing is, I was kind of drawn to the attention that they would get, but not necessarily like, oh, he's a rapper, but just the way that
performer. Yeah,
like words could actually just have people like, wow, like something like that, and it's a good way to hold attention. And I've always had a lot to say, but I've never been like really outspoken.
Right. And
so recording was pretty much my medium for that. As a way to talk to my parents, as a way to talk to people, as a way to just let my thoughts out, So that's how that came about, and I just stuck with it from then until now. Try to record as much as often,
right?
And I try to go as much as I can. As I said, it's more than just like recording music, because it's actually a way to keep me grounded.
All about ambition, man. So do you feel like DC, you're talking about like, rapping on the playground or whatever, do you feel like DC as like a city and environment like really inspires you like musically?
Some parts of it, like they have the go-go scene, and then you have a good hip-hop scene, and then you have like pop scenes that are emerging and things like that. So I try to take as much as I can from every part of it. Like I don't have the go-go sound in my music,
right?
But I mean, there's things I can take from that as well, But then there are other parts, like the city has a lot to offer, like museums and just history and things like that. So I spend a lot of time walking around. I walk a lot and put my earphones in, or sometimes I just walk and try to get influenced that way, or try to get inspiration that way. Or I might just turn on some fellow friends of mine, because I have a lot of friends that make music, and they're just as good as anybody that's blown up right now. So I turn to them, or I just turn to my room, which is the main place I get inspiration from. Close the door, turn on a TV show, my favorite movie, and just write.
Sounds good, man. So what do you feel like the DC hip hop scene currently is?
I feel like it's in a pretty good place, as far as the culture and the different genres of music that are rising from the area, such as go-go and hip hop and the pop scene and things like that. Because I've heard a few kids that are getting into pop and things like that. And so I feel like it's headed in a good direction. It's just up to the artists, to have the direction and have the drive to do it, because they're pretty talented. And I guess if you don't have the machine behind your talent, then you're just as good as a couch,
right?
Sitting there with it.
So how do you feel about being one of these artists who's trying to put DC on the map? I mean, like, now we have Wale, and he's sort of like DC's Jim, but I mean, there's got to be another one, the hip-hop scene's there, it's brewing, like it's ready to go. So I mean, how do you feel about being one of the artists who's sort of trying to push that?
I think the easiest way for me to push it is to not even really think about it. Like some people make it their goal, like, well, since this is where I'm from, I'm going to put the city on the map. I'm going to carry the city on my back. I'm going to push forward for everybody. The most I can say is I can only do for me, and help as much as I can. But I think it's pretty much, not impossible, but at this point in time, it's pretty hard for me to focus on myself and then have to worry about whether he or she is doing good. That's why I say everyone has to have that drive and be driven, to get out there and do everything themselves, or have a machine behind them to push them.
Right.
Because I have a machine, like just me and Liz. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to work as hard as I can, and she's working as hard as she can to push forward for us. And if there comes a time where I can turn back and say, well, hey, you're a pretty talented dude, you're a pretty talented girl, come on, or give them a chance on one of my spots or something like that, But I wouldn't say it's just as direct as bringing everybody with me, just not even the people that only I feel are capable, because I feel like everyone's capable, but just doing what I can,
Right. So I mean, so we just showed your video probably like a month or so ago for Hey I Remember You from your Jay Dilla tribute, and it's getting a lot of attention. People are really liking it. So I just wanted to ask you like a little question on like, the story behind it. Is that like a story that's happened to you in the video, or is it something just general you feel like it happens a lot?
Alright, the video is in direct contrast to the song. But the song, the actual process of the song, I don't get to say this much, but the song isn't really written about a girl.
Okay.
It's say as if you were at dinner with a female, right? Not necessarily looking at the female as a female, but as the word love. You know, it's me speaking to the word love, just in the form of a female to make it more widespread or more understandable, comprehensive. You know, but from a writing standpoint, I'm talking to the word love directly. You know, and if you listen to it from that standpoint, it'll make perfect sense.
Okay.
You know, so it's me putting the word love into real life situations and me walking around with this word or this object. It's more of an object than a person.
Okay.
From the writing standpoint, but from a listening standpoint, it's a female thing. You know, so kind of like I used to love her. You know.
Right.
It's kind of a play on that. You know, so. Then that was one of my favorite songs coming up, and I always wanted to, you know, try to express something in that manner because I thought it was like a cool way. So when I sat down and wrote the song, I pretty much tried to put it into not that direct context, but a spin off of that context, and to have it just to mesh really well, you know, on both ends, from a writer standpoint and from a listener standpoint.
So as soon as this interview is over, go and re-listen to that song. Listen to that. Listen to the song. So what's next, man? I mean, you got any albums coming out, or mixtapes, or new videos brewing, or what?
Actually, I'm working on a mixtape now. Not even necessarily a mixtape, an EP.
Okay.
Because I was going to do a mixtape, but then I found this producer down in Atlanta, and we're currently getting some work done. And then there's Godspeed, which is the pinnacle of it all, you know. But I'm in the process of working on a project with him. And I feel like this project is going to be close-knit to Donuts for the Villagers, but not the exact same thing, because once I do something, I don't want to stay in that area. You know, I want to try to just do as much as I can within a certain element before I move on to the next thing. So I kind of look at it as like chapters.
Right.
So this chapter will be like me going a little bit further off from the straight soul sound or the straight, you know, J Dilla or anyone of that nature. It's just me going off into like another realm and trying to do what I can there and conquer that one before I get off this one and go to that, which is Godspeed, and just trying to keep everything moving, you know, at a steady pace and at a good pace and a productive pace at that, and trying to just, like I said, grow and keep the machine going.
Sounds good. Well, we're very excited, and obviously we'll definitely write about it whenever it comes out.
Thank you.
So I mean, you want to like let us know when your next show is? Is there one planned out?
There's actually one coming up in March in New York. I can't say too much on it yet, not just yet, but it's a pretty good show. It's a pretty big show for me, at least.
Right.
You know, and I'm looking forward to that. But I'll be dropping a song at the end of January, releasing a new song at the end of January for the EP. And as far as anything else, it's just everything is still in the process of being worked out. You know,
right.
But I'm trying to keep as much out and as much to listen to out as possible.
Well, we're excited, man. We're definitely looking forward to it. You want to give any shout-outs to the viewers?
Shout out to everyone that listens. Liz, a manager, Gowhere Hip Hop, Jukebox DC. Everybody that's, you know, paying attention and helping me to keep everything going, and everyone that's, you know, striving to keep the culture going, and everyone that's working to keep themselves going as well. I appreciate everyone.
Well spoken, man. Alright, well this has been Chaz Guy with Gowhere Hip Hop, Obii hanging out in DC.
Alright.
Gowhere Hip Hop out.